everybody talks about the Eagles' rush, and rightfully so. 70 sacks, unbelievable rush. And you're right. They score early. They put a lot of rush on you. The thing snowballs. But this is interesting. This is the passer rating under pressure. Brock Purdy has got an 88.1 passer rating under pressure this year. That's fourth best in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, 65.2% passer rating, or 65.2 passer rating when under pressure, 20th in the NFL. Nobody's really talking about the fact that Jalen Hurts doesn't handle pressure particularly well. He doesn't get it a lot because he's operating behind a tremendous line. But if you can pressure him, I think he could turn it over. I think you can speed him up. I think he can be pressured into some mistakes. But you don't get that narrative when you're listening to the national media talk about the quarterback comparison. It's a very one-sided conversation. Is Brock Purdy have a chance to outplay Hurts in this game, or is Hurts on a different level and you think is going to lead Philly to? You think he's going to have a stellar performance like he had last week against New York?
I think both these quarterbacks are going to have a tough time. They're going against great defenses, both of these guys. And I'm thinking about those stats, like thinking about how they play with Brock. He's good against pressure because he gets the hell out of there. I mean, he gets out of the pocket very well. And him rolling to the left has been wide open for him. He has a green light and no one's around him a lot of the time. So he can get away from bodies, create space for himself, and get wide open passing lanes. So I'm not surprised at that stat. What Philly needs to do is keep him in the pocket and just constrict the space. Because if they have all those big guys 3 feet away from him, then his small stature is going to stand out, and he's not going to be as effective. Passes are going to get tipped. With Jalen Hurts, it seems like he's a bigger guy. When there's pressure around him, he tries to hang in there and throw. I'm not surprised that he has a lower passer rating. But what he does is if there's a lot of pressure, most of the times he'll scramble and just run. I bet you a lot of times when there's pressure, he doesn't throw at all. He just gets you for 20 yards on the ground. So I don't think he's bad under pressure. He's probably good in his way. They're both really good quarterbacks.
They are. It's interesting. I think they're both really good quarterbacks, but they're also quarterbacks that have an abundance of weapons.
Yeah.
And, like Purdy, for example, has taken care of the ball. He hasn't thrown a pick in 59 attempts. It's the most attempts by a rookie in the history of the NFL by a wide margin.
Wow.
And yet people will say,
that scares me.
Big test for Brock. Big test for Brock. But Jalen Hurts has played in 2 playoff games in his entire career and only has 1 win. I mean, Brock at least is 2-0. So I'm just saying it's not like Jalen Hurts is some tried and true tested veteran. These are 2 young quarterbacks who exist by efficiently handling a number of really good weapons on teams that are incredibly talented with great defenses, and they make it work and they win a lot of games. But to me, it's who gets pressured and who handles that pressure better. I think that's the determining factor for me in this game.
Here's what concerns me for the Niners. Like, they're going to have an onslaught early in the game. I feel like this is going to be the loudest game they've faced on the road. They've had so many games on the road where it's like half the stadium's Niner fans, 3/4 of the stadium's Niner. Even in Seattle, half the freaking stadium were Niner fans. It's not going to be like that in Philly. They're going to be really loud. They're going to be really turned up. And it's going to be hard for the offense to think, communicate. It could be a little bit like if they're not on it early on, it could get bad. They got to be right on it from the beginning of the game, executing at their top. Otherwise, it's going to get really bad. I think they seem to rise to the occasion. Kittle did last week. Warner did last week. I mean, this is a team with a lot of like championship level players who know what it takes. So I'm expecting them. Well, it's a 3:00 game, right? It's not like a 10 o'clock game. They should be ready.